Chapter 27. Ryan. We left early on Thursday. Too early. John drove. When I'd woken up properly, I checked out any chicks we passed. 2 or 3 months back, I thought I'd never be able to look at a girl again. I thought about Mel. Yeah, she and Vince would be perfect for each other. I thought about Britt and Ash. After an hour, we turned off the main road and John asked if I'd like to drive. I eased the Subaru over a twisty road between scrubby hills. I'd been driving for maybe 10 minutes, feeling good about it, when I saw this car coming up behind us. It was a young guy. For a second, I thought he was smartass from the defensive driving course, with a chick beside him. He was really tearing along. The moment he caught up, he started swerving out to pass. Then he had to pull in because there was a corner coming up. I checked him in the mirror as we went round a couple more bends. He was glued on my back bumper. "You got an idiot behind you," John told me, and I grunted. We came to a straight bit. I indicated and started pulling over like the course had told me. But he didn't wait. He shot out and started tearing past me. For a second, I glimpsed the girl looking embarrassed. Then a truck came round the corner ahead. Because I was already slowing down, I stopped easily. The truck braked and veered over, jolting along the rough edge, twisting away from the ditch. The guy's car swerved and skidded and slewed to a halt, facing across the road just a couple of metres from the truck. It stood there for a moment, then its wheels spun and it roared away, fishtailing round the corner ahead. The truck came slowly on till it was opposite us. The middle-aged guy in it was red-faced and furious. "Bloody young maniac!" He looked at me, nodded, and said, "He's lucky you were driving sensibly." I drove on, more carefully than ever. John patted my shoulder. "Great, mate," Mum said. "Oh, Ryan, you were so calm." "Thanks," I muttered. I was picturing that chick's face, and another face. If I ever met that young guy again, I'd bloody murder him. Tara. I might write a book about me. Watson House have got me started on a sort of diary, and it's quite cool, even if my handwriting isn't. I've been writing about that Vince guy and putting a few things together. That other face beside Ryan in the car, Ash saying they'd been mucking around, Brett reckoning he was a slime ball. He had something to do with the accident, all right, but I can't be bothered with him now. I felt half scared Mel and he might drop by. If they did, I'd ignore Slimeball like he's never been ignored before. I tried to feel angry I was going out with him, but that's just her. I looked at Brittany when she came, all staunch and no bullshit. I remembered her face when I started that netball game, and I remembered another time when she'd howled and howled after her puppy was run over. Hope she and Ash can get together. When he came on Thursday morning, I didn't mess around. We'd only been in the physio room for about 5 minutes when I asked, "Vince made the accident happen, didn't he?" Ash said nothing. He was supporting me while I was on my hands and knees, doing the lift one arm and one leg exercise. I got wild suddenly, knocked his hand away and nearly fell over. "Wake up, why don't you? He's a creep." Brooke pretended not to hear. Ash looked at me. He's got brown eyes, like mine, but has a sort of calm. "If it was you and Britt," ha, he does like her, "and Mel, would you drop them in the crap?" I don't know what to say. I looked down at the floor. I was still kneeling. One of his hands was close to me. He's got nice hands, like Ryan, but longer and browner. "Look," he said after another pause. "Vince has got the looks, the mouth, the rich old man. Ryan's clever. He does TKD. I'm just their mate. They're the big thing in my life, okay?" I thought of me and Mel and Britt. Guys are thick as shit, but they can surprise you sometimes. "Yeah," I said. "Okay." Ryan. It was a cool week at Peel's uncle's place. It was a big shed with a kitchen and veranda added on. There were 3 or 4 others like it scattered around and a couple of new places perched up on the hill, looking a bit silly. We were just 50 metres from the beach. I slept on the veranda, and in the first morning I woke up, there was this enormous sky and horizon, all filling with pink and green light. The last stars went out, the world turned gold and blue, and the sea sighed on the sand down below. I lay there, thinking of the times 3 months back when I was awake and Tara was unconscious while the sun rose. I never want to live through days like that again. Yet in a funny sort of way, I don't want to forget them either. Mum and John did boring middle-aged stuff. They walked and talked and read and played cards. Me? I walked and talked and read and played cards. Plus I ran and I trained for my TKD grading. I made some money too. A guy 2 sheds along was building a new fence. We got talking, and since I'm an expert in putting fences up and letting them fall down, though I didn't mention that, I ended up working a couple of mornings for him. He paid me $60. I can start building up my savings account again. I thought about Tara heaps. Yeah, I'm going to see if she wants to go out with me. Maybe it's sick. Maybe she'll spit in my face and say it's disgusting. Whatever. I felt calm after I'd made my mind up. I felt calm the whole week we were there, like you do when you've been really sick and you're recovering. But if I ever see that young guy in the car again, I'm going to whack him. After a closed head injury, the patient should not drink any alcohol for 2 years at least, and preferably never again. The importance of staying fit was also emphasised, not a problem with this patient. She intends to start swimming when she goes home. She also asked about netball. Any decision on contact sports should wait a few months. The patient can now stand with eyes closed for some time before feeling giddy. After her life-threatening injuries 13 weeks ago, this has been an excellent recovery. Tara. Mum and Dad are so excited about my coming home over Christmas. So am I. I can't wait to see my room again. Ash came on Monday, and on Tuesday, and on Wednesday. He's been here almost as much as Mum and Dad and Britt. I've asked him about Ryan, like I planned, but most of the time we just yak about schools and movies and friends and bands. He likes thrash metal stuff. I nearly told him I was a bit of a headbanger myself, but that would have been too stupid. Once you get him going, he's really easy to talk to. Wednesday morning was when it happened. Brooke had asked Ash to help with balance and leg strengthening exercises, so I did some squats. The very first time I tried these, a couple of weeks back with Brooke, my left arm flopped around like the kung fu hamsters, and my left side was so weak then that I kept toppling sideways. Today I was a bit tense, like I always am when I have to think about my balance, but it went fine. Good, Ash kept going. Good. He's really patient. I'm going to start swimming when I get home, I told him. Get some tone back in my muscles. You look fine to me, Ash said. For someone in your condition, I mean. I stared at him. Was he trying to take the piss or something? Then I saw how embarrassed he was. I mean, when you think what you're like, he mumbled. What you'd normally be, I mean. He stopped and thumbed himself on the head. Oh, bugger. I started laughing. I laughed till my face went red, and I thought I might topple over like before. Ash stared. Then he grinned. He's got a nice grin and a nice mouth. Then he laughed. I've got to sit down, I finally managed to gasp. Ash looked worried. He reached forward and took my elbows to help me up. His face was right in front of mine. Suddenly, we both stopped laughing. We stared at each other instead. Oh, shit, I realised. Oh, shit. Ryan. We got back Wednesday afternoon. Tara should be going home in the next couple of days, so I'd try to see her tomorrow. I rang Ash to see how the physio had gone. He didn't say much, even for him, but yeah, Tara was okay. I'll see you tomorrow then, I told him. Ash was silent for a second, then went, yeah, cool. John reckoned we had to finish the week with takeaways, so he sent me and the Subaru and some money off to Zeman's. Jimmy, Tara calls him. I walked in, and there behind the counter was Brittany. I stood with my jaw scraping the vinyl. Hell, I thought, it had to be her I was looking dopey in front of. She grinned, I suppose because I was looking like such a retard. Sorry, she said. Children need a note from their parents? She told me how she was just working there till Tara got properly better. We actually talked while she wrapped orders for a couple of other customers. How is Tara anyway? I asked. I'm going to see her tomorrow. Ash said she's been doing okay. Brittany glanced down. She must have guessed about me and Tara. Or, hey, maybe things had worked out and she'd clicked with Ash. Yeah, she's cool, she said. She's going home for Christmas the day after tomorrow. Seen anything of Mel and Vince? I asked. This was so weird. We were almost behaving like civilized people. Brittany shrugged. They're an item. Today, anyway. We both laughed. Incredible. Min came through with my order. Hello, right, Lion, he said. Merry Christmas. He shook hands with me, which felt cool. Brittany gave me another awkward sort of grin. That made 2 smiles from her. Christmas must be coming, all right. Next morning, I thought about ringing Vince, and I didn't. I rang Ash, but his sister said he'd already left. John needed the car, so I had to catch 2 buses to Watson House. I sat working out exactly what I was going to say to Tara. I was nervous, but not in the sick nervous I'd been those other times when I was heading to see her. If Ash was there, I'd have to think up some way to get him out of the room. In the front hall, I met Brooke. Hi, she greeted me. Good holiday? Tara's on the veranda. As I started off, she said, Your friend's there too, Ash. He's been great. Yeah, I'd have to make up some excuse to get Ash out of the way, all right. I went slowly down the hall, practicing how I was going to ask Tara to a movie or McDee's when she was able to. I stepped out onto the sunlit veranda. Tara was there, and Ash, sitting together and holding hands.